Okay, I promised a video of my antenna, but more importantly the antenna tuner, which is actually outside at the feed point. So here's my radio. It actually has an internal antenna tuner, but right now with this new setup I don't hardly ever use it. Sometimes I have to tweak 80 meters, but other than that, below or above 80 meters, I don't have to do anything. So just over here is the internal box, I guess we'll call it. This actually basically gives you a push button for tuning it, which activates the tuner. Normally that's inside, in the tuner, but this is like a split system, like a split system air conditioner, I guess. So you push the tuning button, and all it does is send 12 volts up the coax to the external outdoor antenna tuner, in lieu of pushing the button right here with the tuner inside. So it sends 12 volts, just closes the relay and turns on the tuner outside. So you basically run the coax from the radio, and I go through this meter also, but then through this little box and then outside. So it goes out behind the wall here, under the desk basically, right down there in my maze of wires. You can see how it goes out that little gray square box back there. So I'm going to turn around, walk out the door. That's where I keep my camper, which also has a radio in it. I come around the corner, and here's the feed point, this 4x4, which is cemented 2 feet into the ground, and then strapped, the ratchet straps. This is a 46-foot pole that I have elevated only 35 feet, so it has more overlap between the sections. It's a telescopic mast from DX Engineering, and it supports a inverted V vertical, basically. The end of which comes down over here. I just ran it to a piece of PVC at about 12 feet above the ground, and you follow it to its conclusion. It goes to the top of the pole, and then it comes back down. Let me just walk over here, and hopefully you can see how it comes from the top, comes down, and ends up in that tree, which I don't think you can see the end of it. Just below the greenery of the tree, you can see the end of what was really just a long wire. So it's 22 feet off the ground, goes up to the peak, goes back down like a V, and then watch how this thing goes. So I ran it through this PVC, and it goes in a little U there, up over the windowsill, back down, pops back out right there, and then you can lift this up so you can see it. I just put this here for water purposes. There's the end of it. So it's a long wire, okay? Comes into the antenna up at the top here. There's hard to see, but it's a post. That wire just attaches there. And at the bottom of their end is where the coax comes out. And then that goes into the shack. I run it through a 1-to-1 balun, choke off the RF that wants to go down the coax, and then goes into the shack. So this little box here, which is just a black box that looks like a tuner, is the sorry about that, is the external tuner. This is a ground lug, and I've got 3, I think they're about 17 feet long, counterpoise radials, essentially, just elevated above the ground a little bit. There's the other 2, and this one hooks up to the fence. This one goes over to from there over to this gutter. I just have it bungee corded down, and it just drapes down there. And I don't know how much they're doing, but You know, I haven't tested it without them, but that's the other half of the antenna, I guess you could say. So, and that thing works pretty good. Better than any antenna I've ever had, where my antenna tuner was in the house. And like I say, 30 feet, 35 feet at the apex, and it seems to get out pretty much anywhere I can hear, I can talk. But usually about 40 to 60 watts. So that is my external antenna and external antenna tuner. This is what I did when I had new siding put in. I had this box attached, and all my coax just goes down below here underneath to keep the thing from getting wet. And then on the other end, it's attached right to the house, and at the other end goes through this little hole here into the what I call my shed shack. It's just a shed that's attached to my house. It's a mobile home, and it's an 8 by 8 foot shed with a almost flat roof attached to the house, which is a peaked roof. That is the antenna.